Historically, we know that there were real people in the 1600s. There were real governments hundreds of years before Jesus was born, and there were real dinosaurs on the earth thousands of years earlier than that. Most of us accept these as facts in our minds. But when it comes to actually relating to people and events that happened that far in the past, it becomes little more than what it feels like to read a fiction novel. We have so little experience in our short lifespan with which to relate it. Even stories that we hear from our grandparents about things that happened as little as 70 or 80 years ago sound so distant and unreal that we cannot relate to them. And the same thing goes for the future. As Christians, we may talk about Jesus returning. We may even talk about going to heaven when we die, and yet it too is largely fantasy. Concepts on which to base our beliefs, yes, and concepts over which we might argue heatedly. But in the day-to-day experiences of life, we are all firmly rooted in the present, with little real experience of the future. It could so easily be just imagination and wishful thinking. Whether we look forward or whether we look to the past, events in both directions might as well be happening in another universe. We are emotionally trapped in the present. About the only things that seriously jar us out of those assumptions about the present being the ultimate reality are those times when someone dies. When death hits us in the face, then, suddenly, leaving this thing we call life is very real and, for most of us, very frightening. And we feel an urgent need to push it out of our minds and resume our obsession with the present. I think this business of being trapped in the present is especially true of doctrines about the return of Jesus. Like, what is it really going to be like? Do we seriously think that another dimension is going to crash into planet Earth and bring us face to face with our Creator? For centuries, people talked about the arrival of the Jewish Messiah. Everyone formed their own various opinions about what it would be like, but on the whole, they all missed it. And what are the chances that we have it all wrong about how it will be the second time? Jesus talked about how it would be in the world just before he returns. He said it would be much like it was in Sodom and Gomorrah just before those two cities were destroyed with fire. Life was pretty normal. Oh, there was sin and debauchery in many places, but for most people, it was life as normal. They had become used to the debauchery and indifferent to anything else. Jesus said they did such mundane things as buying and selling, planting and building, and getting married and raising families, with never a thought about leaving it all. The story is that fire came down from heaven and destroyed those two cities more or less overnight. The down from heaven part may be disputed by some of us, but the cold hard facts are that they were destroyed, and the people inside those cities died with them, just as real as if it had happened in Pompeii or Hiroshima or any other city that has been wiped out overnight. Death happens like that, and the return of Jesus is going to happen like that too. One day he will not be here, and the next he will be. We can talk theory about it all we want, but when it happens, it will be too late to discover that we had it all wrong. I'm not talking discrepancies over dates or other details. I'm talking major errors in exactly what he is going to do with the people of this planet when he arrives. Most of us, inside the churches as well as outside, live like he'll never return. We live like getting a better paying job, winning an argument, campaigning for our preferred presidential candidate, being accepted by the religious status quo, like all those things matter more than what is going to happen to each of us personally when Jesus returns. And yet it seems to me that what is going to make all the difference when he does get here is just how seriously we thought it through before he got here. See, wishful thinking doesn't score you any points when it comes to winning a gold medal in a sporting competition, and it's not going to make any difference after Jesus arrives. It's incredibly easy to close our eyes and minds and say, it's never going to happen. All that is real is right now, where I am, here in the present, with just a little bit of wishful thinking thrown in on top of it. But you simply are not going to be in the race if you have not picked yourself up and made some serious decisions to train and train and train long before the grand final, the day when Jesus gets here. The signs that he is coming are getting less and less fanciful and more indisputable. But what are we going to do about it? Most of the world just dreams about doing something great one day, while a tiny handful of people actually make the necessary changes to live their lives like it matters. They are the ones who win the medals in the Olympics, or who achieve greatness in some other area of life. So will it really be so different with spiritual things? Jesus is pretty clear about it. He is only coming for those people who have shown by their actions that they believe that he is all that the churches claim to believe he is. Almost everything I've ever seen in the churches indicates to me that they do not believe what they say. Not for 1 minute. They do not believe that any of this is going to happen, no matter what they say with their lips. Their actions proclaim that what they preach is all fairy tales and fancy talk, aimed at making themselves look good, or aimed at selling books, or aimed at getting more bodies with full wallets into their pews. It's not about the real Jesus of the 4 Gospels. And such unbelief, despite all the religious trappings that go with it, is going to take you, along with all the other religious leaders who rejected what Jesus actually preached, straight to hell. Make no mistake, it's going to be too late to wake up to the reality after he gets here. Heaven is real, friends. As real as icebergs and pyramids, as real as giant squid. You may have never seen any of those things yourself, but it does not make them any less real. And if heaven is real, then so is hell. Stop kidding yourself with religious double talk and religious distractions. Stop telling yourself that I and others like me am making this all up, that it's only our misguided interpretation of what Jesus said. Stop doing that and listen to Jesus for yourself. Heaven and hell are just as real as are the teachings of Jesus. He talked about a place that he called outer darkness, where there will be weeping, he said, and wailing and gnashing of teeth. I don't know the details. I haven't been there. But because I found everything else that Jesus taught is true, I believe him on that one as well. I don't have it all worked out, but I do believe it's real, and I definitely don't want to go there. Nevertheless, it is where you and I will both go if we continue to procrastinate about obeying Jesus. He has told us to forsake everything we have and come follow him if we want to be a part of his kingdom. What are you doing about it? I'm not talking about joining a discussion group. I'm not talking about shedding a few tears before you go back to living life the same as everyone else in Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm talking about leaving it all. Leaving it for the real Jesus, for the historical Jesus of the 4 Gospels. He is alive and real, and he is present in the world today through his words, which have been preserved inside this book. Jesus said, "The words that I have spoken unto you, they will judge you in the last days." That's a real promise from the real Son of God. It's going to happen. It will happen to the Torben Sondergaards of the world, to the Francis Chans, to the Franklin Grahams. It's going to happen to every false prophet in every religious denomination in the world today. Not one of their celebrity friends is going to be able to get them out of it. But it's going to happen to you and me too. We are going to be judged by the words of Jesus. And still, most of you put off even reading those life-giving words, waiting for some more convenient day, trusting your religious leaders to fix things up for you when they are no more saved than you are. Please, friends, before it's too late, please open your heart to all that Jesus is saying. Turn loose of your job, your family, your possessions, your friends, and step out in faith. Real faith, the kind of faith that the first Christians had. Join hands with others who are doing the same thing, and let us turn this world upside down with the truth about what really awaits us outside this tiny prison that we call time. If you want to be put in touch with others who are preparing for the return of Jesus right now, please write to the address on the screen. You may have to travel 1,000 miles or more just to find one person who is ready to leave it all for Jesus, but it will be worth it. We look forward to hearing from you today while you still have the time.